Today we are doing a dish that is just a great family meal. It's great for company. It's classic. It's an easy recipe, and it's a classic French recipe, and it's basically chicken with mushrooms and a tarragon cream sauce using some wonderful creme fraiche, some fresh tarragon, and some button mushrooms, and one whole chicken. Hey everybody, it's Walter from Artistic Gourmet Adventures. My wife Kim and I own this unique small group tour company where we host groups of 6 to 12 guests for 1 week luxury adventures in beautiful locations throughout Europe and the United States. I have the privilege of being the adventure chef, creating and preparing daily gourmet meals for our guests. We also enjoy creating in-home private dinners for clients and friends when we're back in the States. Many of our guests request our recipes and want to learn cooking tips. So, in this video series, from our cozy home kitchen here in the beautiful Loire Valley of France, we will demonstrate a wide variety of recipes, from culinary classics to originals, as well as covering a few professional kitchen techniques for the home chef. For more information on Artistic Gourmet Adventures, check our website, linked in the description below. Now, let's start cooking! Let's take a look at our ingredients for our chicken with mushrooms and creamy tarragon sauce. So we've got our chicken here, and now this chicken needs to be room temperature. I've taken it out about 45 minutes to an hour before, and I've seasoned it with salt and pepper. And this is a great opportunity to use some kind of a specialty pepper. You could use a seasoned pepper. I like a little bit of extra spice, so I've put some Espelette in it, which is a spice from the Basque country of France. It's not really hot. It's kind of like a cayenne pepper, but it's got the same kind of a flavor profile as a cayenne pepper, but not quite as hot. But it just imparts a great flavor to your chicken. So it's important for your chicken to be sitting out and to be seasoned with salt and your pepper, and let that sit for about an hour out before you start cooking it. And the other part of our dish is mushrooms. We're going to saute some mushrooms just quickly and gently as part of our dishes. That'll actually be the first thing that we do. And some accompaniments that we've got here. We've got some minced shallots. We've got some minced garlic. We've got some sliced shallots, and we've got some tarragon. Now, tarragon is a very pungent herb, and so I've just picked this again out of the garden, and it doesn't take very much. It goes a little bit goes a long way. It's kind of almost an anisey type of flavor, but we're going to use tarragon to season our sauce, or to flavor our sauce. And this is a very common and typical French dish to have a tarragon cream sauce. And of course we have a little bit of butter that we're going to use, and our cream today is going to be actually a creme fraiche. Now, if you don't have creme fraiche in the States, it's really best to go and buy creme fraiche if you can find it, because you can certainly substitute, heavy cream that you boil down and reduce so it thickens a little bit. Then you could add a little bit of sour cream to it, but it's not the same animal. So if you can find creme fraiche at a specialty shop, Whole Foods, Central Market, any of these specialty shops, you'll be able to find creme fraiche. It's really what you want to use. And then we've got a little bit of dry white wine that we're going to use to deglaze our pan. And this is also a great accompaniment wine to eat with to drink with your dish. This is a Riesling. This is a dry Riesling. A lot of times when people hear Riesling, they think it's going to be sweet, but this is a dry Riesling, and you can find a really nice dry Riesling from Washington State, from Oregon. This one happens to be from the land of Riesling, where Riesling comes from, which is Alsace, which is the far northeastern portion of France on the border of Germany. So you can find lots of varieties of Riesling, but most of them are going to be dry, and this one from Alsace is just absolutely delicious. Just got a great flavor, and it goes perfectly with this dish. to start our process, like I said, we're going to saute our mushrooms. And what I've done is I've just got some white button mushrooms. These are called champignons de Paris, or just you just find them in the store as white button mushrooms. And I've quartered them just for a nice look. So we are just going to, I've got my cocotte or Dutch oven over a pretty high flame here, and we want that to get nice and heated. And so I'm adding some oil here, some grapeseed oil. You could use avocado oil. Anything that's a neutral oil is great. And we will add probably, that's by a half a tablespoon of butter. So whenever you're going to, cook mushrooms, it's the best way to determine what the order of putting things in is, once this butter starts to foam, which you can see it here, it's in the oil and it's starting to foam, then it's time to add your shallots, which we'll add now. We'll add some shallots and a little bit of garlic, just a little bit, okay, and our mushrooms. So we're just going to cook those gently. And we just want to get a little bit of flavor on them. And in a second, we'll season them with a little bit of salt and some pepper. And they won't take much seasoning. And a little bit of black pepper. And again, we're only going to cook these for a few minutes just to get a little caramelization on them and to get a little cook on them, because they will cook a little bit more later when we put them in with the chicken. So boy, and you can already smell it. It smells incredible. And we just want them to soften a little bit. I'm going to turn the heat down so we don't burn our garlic. We just want them to soften a little bit and give a little bit of color. And then we'll set them aside. Our mushrooms have been going for about 3 minutes now, maybe 4 minutes. And honestly, I probably could have waited a little bit longer before I put my garlic in. It's going a little bit darker brown than we want. But we'll just wipe the pot out. So we will take our mushrooms out and just set those aside. Our mushrooms are finished and they are setting aside. And now we've put a little bit more oil in the pan and we are letting that come up to temperature. And we are now just going to brown our chicken pieces all over. And I like to use dark meat chicken for this. I do happen to have a couple of breasts that we'll use. They won't take nearly as long to cook as our other pieces because, for one thing, they're boneless. And but we'll just keep a good eye on them. So you can see the reason that we've used this large cocotte here, and it's mainly because you want to put when you're browning any kind of meat, whether it's chicken or any kind of protein, you don't want to crowd the pan. So you want to be able to put everything in there in one layer so that it browns and it sears rather than steams. If they are too close together in the pan, they will then start to steam and you would not develop the caramelization that you want on the skin. And that's where your flavor is. So for that reason, I've left one of our pieces out, but we'll put it in here in just a second. But we'll just let this cook a little bit longer. We want to get the skin nice and brown and just on all sides. So we'll continue to do that and make sure that the chicken is nice and brown all around. Our chicken pieces are just about finished browning, and I do want to encourage you to make sure you take the time to make sure your chicken is nice and brown. Don't rush this step because, again, this is where your flavor is built up. So go ahead and make sure that chicken is nice and browned all around. It's not Of course, it's not done yet, but you do want some nice color on it. So we'll finish our chicken here, and then we'll drain this pot, and we'll be right back. Our chicken is finished, and you can see that we've drained the pot of the excess oil, and this is an important step because you don't want your sauce to be oily or greasy. So we've drained the pot, and now we're going to add probably 2 tablespoons of butter, and we've got our heat down pretty low now, and we're going to our butter is foaming, and we're going to go ahead and put our shallots in. And we're going to just sweat those until they're nice and translucent and soft. Oh, and I'm telling you what, the smell of this is unbelievable. Look at that nice foam. That's just all of that is just flavor. Beautiful. Okay, our shallots are nice and soft. Now we can add our garlic in. And again, I've probably got maybe 1.5 cloves of garlic here that we're adding. And we'll just let that soften to flavor everything. And now we are going to add our white wine and deglaze our pan. So I'm going to turn the heat up just a little bit because we want this wine to hit that pan and just start loosening up everything that's on the bottom. Oh, there we go. Beautiful. Now the bottom is nice and clean, and now we'll add our chicken back in. Well, we'll let this reduce. We want this wine to reduce probably by about 1/3, and the purpose of that is twofold. You're going to intensify the flavor of the wine, which is going to intensify the flavor of your sauce, and it will burn off the alcohol. So as soon as that happens, we'll add our chicken. Our wine has been reducing, and it's to the point where we want. You can see where it thickens up a little bit, and there's about half the volume that was in there when we first put it in there. And I think I was remiss in not even mentioning the chicken stock, which of course is a main ingredient. So I've got about 1 liter of chicken stock. I'm going to put probably 500 mils of that, maybe. Our wine is reduced, and we've now added our chicken stock, and we've added probably about 500 milliliters, which is close to 2 cups, something like that, 2.5 cups. And this really depends on the amount of chicken that you have and how loose you want your sauce to be. And so what I'm doing now is I've let this come to the boil, and so any of the impurities, that are rising up, I'm just skimming those off because we want our sauce to be nice and clean. So any of the dark burnt bits that come up, we'll take those out. So now we can add our chicken in, and we will do that. And this process is really braising because we're cooking this chicken in liquid. So that's actually what braising is. So we'll put our chicken pieces in here and let those cook for a little bit. And we will check on the breast portions before we check on the others, because again, they will probably be cooked faster because they are boneless breasts, and they will tend to cook faster than everything else. So we've got our chicken in, and now we'll add probably half of our creme fraiche. And that will cook down, and we'll just stir it around, and this is the beginning of a fantastic sauce. We've added our creme fraiche in, brought it up to the boil, stirred it around so doesn't look like it was when we first put it in. It looked like it was all separating and everything. So now we're just going to sprinkle our tarragon in. And this is our tarragon that we have chopped up. It's the chopped tarragon that we're putting in there now. And that's going to be our flavor element. So now we're just going to cover this and let it simmer for probably 20 minutes. Our chicken's been going for about 15 minutes now. And so what we'll do now actually is we'll go ahead and put our mushrooms in, because they really need to be only in the pan just to kind of warm up, to kind of heat up. So we will put those in there. And as you can see, I've actually already taken the breast pieces out. So we will let those warm up just a little bit, get a little bit of that flavor, and then we're going to remove our chicken and strain our sauce. Yeah, we'll let our mushrooms cook for a couple of minutes. And now let's go ahead and take our chicken pieces out, and we're just going to set those in the oven, keep them warm. The oven's not on high, it's just on very low. We're going to take our chicken and mushrooms out, and then we're going to strain our sauce. Now, if you want to, you can keep the sauce like it is, but we're going for a little bit cleaner sauce, and flavor should be there from the tarragon. And what we'll do now is we're going to strain this sauce into another pan using our China cap sieve. And so I'll move our chicken out of the way. And we'll take this sauce and pour it into another pan, and we'll put that back over the heat. And now we're going to bring this sauce back up to a nice simmer, and then we'll add the rest of our creme fraiche to that, and then we'll reduce it. We're going to add the rest of our creme fraiche into our sauce, and we will get that nice and go ahead and whisk it in. And we want to bring this up to a gentle boil, and then we'll turn it down to a simmer, and we want to reduce it just a little bit. It doesn't need to be reduced a whole lot, but let's just give it a taste and see where we're headed. Oh, it's really good. It's really, really good. You can definitely taste the creme fraiche in there. It doesn't taste like heavy cream. It tastes like creme fraiche, which is a different flavor. So it's very nice. The balance is good. We could actually stand to put more tarragon. I actually like the flavor of tarragon. So, you know, you can start with the amounts that are listed on the ingredients, and if you feel like you want more, you can certainly add a little bit more. But we'll let that sauce reduce for a little bit, and then we'll finish our dish. Well, our sauce is finished, and look at that. It's just beautiful. It's silky, it's smooth, it's creamy. And so we've taken our chicken and mushrooms out of the oven, and we'll spoon some of our sauce over it. And we'll finish it with a little bit of our extra tarragon. Perfect. And we'll just put a couple pieces over that. And we definitely won't let our sauce go to waste. We'll put a little bit of our sauce in our bowl. So today we are serving our chicken with mushrooms and a tarragon cream sauce, and we are going to plate that with some pomme de terre rissolé, basically potatoes that have been parboiled and then pan sautéed with a little bit of butter and garlic, and some fresh green beans. We'll just put some of those around the plate. And now we've got our poulet, our chicken. And let's go with one and another, just like that. And this chicken is just incredible. It's it's basically been braised, and we've added this cream sauce with tarragon and creme fraiche and some nice pan-seared button mushrooms that we put into the mix toward the end. And let's just add a little bit of our cream over the top. This is our tarragon cream sauce. And we'll finish it with a couple of sprigs of tarragon. And there we have it. And now we have paired this today with a beautiful wine from the northeast portion of France, from the Alsace region of France. And this is a wine that was actually used for the cooking of this dish. And so just as a reminder, whenever a recipe calls for wine, make sure that it's a wine that you would drink. Don't ever use cooking wine. You want to use a wine that you would drink. So it doesn't have to be a crazy expensive wine, but this wine has been used in the dish, and it's also fantastically wonderful, crisp, and dry white. And so it's a Riesling, and it's a dry Riesling. A lot of times in the States, when people hear Riesling, they think it's going to be a sweet wine. But Washington State and Oregon both produce wonderful dry Rieslings. So cheers. Now, this is the moment I've been waiting for all day long, the taste test. So let's just, we'll try a little bit of the breast portion. Get some of that sauce in there. Oh, great flavor. You can taste the cream in there. You know, the wine just has enhanced it. You don't really taste the wine, but the fact that the wine was in there and it was cooked in there really brings out the rest of the flavor. So let's try a mushroom. Oh, and that's fantastic. Potatoes. It all just works really, really well. If you enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more, give us a thumbs up below and hit that subscribe button. It's free. And ring the bell if you want to be notified as soon as we release a new video. Also, let us know in the comments if you have any special recipe requests. We really appreciate you tuning in. See you next time.